Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. We are starting a new series on this channel which is going to be a beginner guides to Avatar. Now, this is a new series I wanted to create because I feel like there is a lot of questions when stepping into this community. This community has been growing rapidly for many years now, and I feel like for newcomers it may be a bit difficult to find your footing in this community. So I wanted to start a series of encouraging people or giving people a place to come and learn some knowledge, learn where to start, type of video you could give your friend and say, here you go pal, here's where you start. I also want to make this video for rippers and leakers, whether or not you were unknowingly a part of that or you were knowingly a part of that. I want to give some foot ground because I believe that you can completely change and come back from that. I think that we've all done some messed up stuff, whether or not it was because we knew or didn't know, but I think that everyone deserves a place to start, and I'd like to help people dig their feet into this community because it's a great community. You know, I think that people expressing their creativity is great. So the first thing we need to get over is where to start. Now, this is a big video with a lot to cover, so if this video ends up being really long, I apologize. I'm condensing as much as I can, but there's a lot to cover. There's a lot to start from. So getting started, I would argue that there are 4 sites primarily that you can purchase avatars from. Now, the main site that almost all creators use along the eGirl and eBoy site, eGirl and eBoy, is Gumroad. If that's a type of style that you want, mostly the avatars that are featured within my videos, Gumroad is a safe site in which creators can sell their work. I sell my work, and it is a popular site for people to sell their work on. The second site, if eBoys and eGirls aren't your style and you like the more anime style, is Booth. Booth is more anime oriented, very cartoon oriented avatar style, and this is the main site from here. Mind you, a lot of these creators are from Japan, and that this site is going to use their currency, so currency conversion can be a little bit difficult. That's also something we need to be very wary of when purchasing avatars, is currency conversion. You are going to be purchasing an avatar in the currency the creator uses or chooses to sell their avatar in. So always make sure to do your conversions. Always make sure to do your research. The third site, which I'm going to be using Nessie's avatars here, the third site is Payhip. Now, Payhip is a little bit more customizable, and there's a few reasons why a lot of creators go here, but this is another reliable site where creators sell their avatars on. And I didn't grab a link to it right now, but the last site is more of a creator personal site, meaning they set up their website, which is Shopify. I know a few creators like Cupcake uses Shopify, which is a personal safe setup area where you can purchase avatars. Now, when we purchase avatars, like I touched on, there is something called currency conversion. If you are from the USA and you are trying to buy something with a different currency, or I'm Canadian, you have to make sure to do your research in currency conversion. I see a lot of miscommunication with that, so make sure you know how much you're spending in your own currency to purchase somebody else's avatar. It may become a little bit more expensive. Another key feature to note is that not every single avatar is sold using PayPal. I know a good majority of this community is a lot younger, or may not have credit cards or debit cards, or they may be in a different country where this is a little bit difficult. You want to keep in mind that some creators do not allow PayPal purchase, and if they do, they are going to state that on their page. So make sure to read through, make sure to see what they do offer and what they don't offer, because if it's not stated that they offer it, they most likely don't offer it. So just please keep that in mind, that some people only accept debit and credit, where some are more lenient towards PayPal. Now, even more information, bear with me. Some creators don't use PayPal for the lack of restriction purposes. So some creators will not switch over to PayPal, and they will continue using what they do. So if you have a creator who doesn't use PayPal, I would make sure you do your research to see if they have mentioned this topic before, and if they aren't planning on switching, don't ask them to switch. It's a little bit tiring. Now, there are some other sites that are not these sites in which avatars can be obtained illegally. These sites, what we refer to in the community, are leaking sites or ripping sites. Now, leaking and ripping are two different things. Leaking is gaining a package through either purchasing it or getting it from somebody else and spreading that package without said people purchasing it. Ripping is directly taking an avatar from somebody else in-game. With the new EAC update, ripping is a little bit more on the less side, although it still exists. This method is really highly looked down upon because you are stealing a creator's work, just as when you are purchasing something from a restaurant, or just as when you are purchasing a car. There is a lot of different things that go into making a whole product from different companies. You pay the company who assembled the said object together for you to use recreationally, or if it's a need. Now, not all avatars are made like that, but a good portion of them are. Every single avatar has a creator's hard work put into it, whether or not it be made from a lot of different creator stuff, or if it was made completely by themselves. There is a lot of different reasons as to why supporting a creator is where you want to start, is where you want to go. These other sites take from these creators and they give them out for free. And a lot of creators don't like talking about these sites because we don't want to give traction to them. I will not be linking these sites, I will not be sharing these sites, and if you do know these sites, I ask that you stop using them and not support them, as they're doing a lot of harm. I know I will get a little bit of flack from that for mentioning these sites and also from the sites themselves, but I think that it's a big part of this community that needs to be known, where the morality of that and the legality of that, it's just wrong. So if you are on any other sites other than these ones that I've listed, I kindly ask for you to close the tab if you know, wow, this site doesn't look that reliable, it kind of checks out the marks, of being unreliable, and consider supporting the creator of the avatar you are wanting. Now, finding an avatar that you want is going to be our next step. When we find an avatar that we want, we go, wow, this is the avatar that I personally want. This is it. This is the one. Also, keep in mind, everything I link and have in here will be linked in the description. But I found the avatar that I wanted, and I'm like, where is my next step? Now, there's a few things that you want to consider before purchasing an avatar. Don't just jump to the purchase. I know how tempting it is. Don't. The first thing you want to consider is, am I on PC VR or Quest VR? Always, 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 Quest users, this is for you. Triple, double, quadruple check, however many times you need to be 100% sure that your avatar comes with a Quest compatible package. Please keep that in mind, as it's a very, very important aspect. I cannot tell you the amount of times Quest users purchase a package and they don't understand it's not Quest. Now, if it comes with a Quest package, it is ready to be set up for Quest users. There will normally be two different packages, PC and Quest. Now, any avatar can be turned into a Quest avatar. That does not mean it's easy. That does not mean Quest packages are going to be exactly the same as PC packages. There is a lot of limitations to Quest. Read the description of the avatar to know what you are getting. Please. Quest and PC will have two different outcomes. They will look different. They will have different things because some things you cannot have in Quest. I cannot stress this enough. Read the description. Now that we've gotten that elephant out of the room, let's talk about some other things. Most avatars have a description of what they have within this package, what they are offering you. Now, in most booth sites, as I have here, those same information is going to be on the page, but Normally, half the time it's going to be in Japanese, so I personally use Google Translate, best way to go about it, or translate the page itself. Know what you're getting. Another good important part of reading this is it's going to tell you what you need. Some people in the side here tell you the stats of the avatar, what's on the avatar, how many polygons, how many materials, and once we get into it more in different videos, you'll know what all of that means. But it also tells you down here more information. It tells you what you need. For example, you are going to need Poyomi Pro, the VRChat SDK, dynamic penetration, and it also tells you here that they offer uploads. That's a great part. Not all creators offer that, but this one does. So keep that in mind while you're reading. Now that we have the avatar and we know that this is what I want, this is everything that I needed, I looked at the pictures if there was any, I watched the videos if there was any, and if I had any additional questions, I contacted the creator or I asked people who own the avatar. Now that those questions are out of the way, you can make your purchase. First of all, we got to talk about two separate types of purchases. I'm going to put these in two categories, 2019 purchases and 2018 purchases. Now, what do I mean about that? Those were how many years ago? It is 2022. 2019 packages are packages that were made using newest VRChat SDK for the most part. There are 2018 packages as well. Now, these use two different SDKs, which is the VRChat upload. It's what you upload from Unity to VRChat. Another different set in here is that most 2018 packages use Dynamic Bones. Now, Dynamic Bones is a good thing and a bad thing when it comes to avatar purchases, as with VRChat's newest update, they switched SDKs, meaning that the main bone system, so what makes all this avatar move, was transferred to VRChat's personal bone system. That doesn't mean that it was anything wrong with that, it just means it adds a little bit more complication to avatar purchasing. For example, this avatar says nothing about dynamic bones. Dynamic penetration, but no bones. If I come to a different avatar here, it's going to be telling me that there are dynamic bone components, that this avatar requires dynamic bones. Now, if you came into the new wave where you know what fizz bones are, but you don't know what dynamic bones are, dynamic bones were a product made by Will Hong on Unity. It was the old bone system that we used to use here for VRChat, but VRChat changed. Now, if you are new to all of this and you are looking at me like I have 5 heads, like what is a dynamic bone? If you see an avatar you like that has dynamic bones, for your first purchase, I recommend staying away from it. There is a bit of a complication with uploading dynamic bones. If you are new to this and you see a package that is using 2018, and it's a 2018 package, they're very rare, but they still exist, stay away from it if you are a beginner. I know how much you like that avatar and you want it, but I promise you, learn the basics, then get complicated. You know, you can message the creator, it's not going anywhere. Hopefully it won't go anywhere, you know. Just start yourself off easy. I promise you, don't dive in head first with this one. It gets real complicated real quick. So now we have everything. We're like, okay, we know what's in it. We know what it needs. Now we got to talk about that. The first thing that every avatar uses is the VRChat SDK, which can be found at the VRChat website on downloads. Now there's 2 SDKs here. We have VRChat Worlds, obviously don't need that, and we have VRChat Avatars. This is the SDK we want to download currently because it's going to give us fizz bones. We always want to use the newest SDK. Now, if a creator requires a specific SDK, make sure that you read the description. This is going to give you the newest SDK. Some creators may require a version before that or before that. So if it's not the most recent one, message the creator, join their Discord. Most of them have it in their descriptions. Look around. They will have a channel that provides the exact downloads that they need. Now, every avatar uses SDKs. This is a very important part. This is exactly what we need. A handful of e-girl and e-boy avatars are going to use a shader system called Poyomi. Poyomi shader was, well, created by Poyomi, and it is the most common shader. It's the shader that I use in almost all of my videos when explaining how to do what I do. Make sure you are reading the exact Poyomi version that it needs. Most of the time, it's going to tell you which version that it needs. You can come to the GitHub here, and you can get the version that you need. I will link this in the description. Great, you have your shader. What if it needs Poyomi Pro? There are some avatars out there that have functions that use particle systems that need Poyomi Pro. Poyomi Pro is a paid shader. Poyomi is free. Poyomi Pro is paid. The paid to get Poyomi Pro is through their Patreon, which I will link in the description as well. It is through their Patreon. You can subscribe, you can get Pro. Everything is explained on the website on how to obtain it, so I won't get any farther with that. Now, if the avatar requires dynamic bones and you are going to go head first with all of this, dynamic bones can be purchased through the Unity store. It can be purchased, it's made by Will Hong, but looking at dynamic bones should come up. Although, please keep in mind, dynamic bones is a paid asset. So if you're first starting out, you probably don't want to pay for more than you already are. Next is the dynamic penetration system, which is another paid asset by, oh god, I'm gonna butcher it, Reliv? I'm gonna call him Ral. It's made by Ral. Now, I'm not gonna show the upper half of this. This dynamic penetration system is for 18 plus, and it is not Quest compatible, although this is another paid add-on to an avatar that if you know, I don't think I need to explain any further. Some of y'all in my comments already know. Trust me, I've seen the comments. But now we've gotten on the basic e-girl, e-boy side of things. Now we have booth models. Booth models become a bit more complicated because a lot of them don't use a collective shader. Most, if not all, booth models either include the shader in the package or they will have a description to what shader they need. Here it's the Unity Chan Toon shader, and they will link in probably a Google Doc where it is. There is a difference between purchase of Gumroad avatars, I'm going to call them, and booth avatars. Gumroad avatars do not go as in depth as booth avatars. If you are wanting a very clean and concise avatar, like I'm talking like you're getting a Google document of information translated in like 3 languages. You are learning up and down what this avatar is. I would tilt you towards booth models. I will give credit where credit is due. They are very clean, concise, organized, almost always made from scratch. But they are a bit more complicated and not beginner friendly. I've been purchasing avatars for a very long time now, and my first booth avatar threw me in for a loop. So keep that in mind. Very good creators. I believe all avatars are great. Doesn't matter how they're made. It's just your personal style and your personal package choice, how you like your meal packaged. Now that we've gotten through all of that, we want to read the terms of service of the creator. You know, every creator has a terms of service, and I think it's very important to familiarize yourself with the basic terms and service. Now, here are basic terms and services that are used for almost every single paid model. You cannot share the avatar package with a friend. I don't care if they're your family member, and I don't care if they're your bestie. If they didn't purchase it, they cannot have it. You purchase the avatar package for yourself, and unfortunately, you cannot share that with anyone else. If they want the avatar, they have to purchase it themselves. You cannot take assets off of an avatar without buying it from the original place. This goes for all avatars all of the round. Unless they say you can specifically use the asset, just take it as it is, don't use it, or buy it from the original creator. Most creators link all of their stuff down here so you can find it. Next, you cannot make avatars public. No matter what. You cannot make them public. There are very, very few instances where avatars can be made public. I know there is a portion of furry models out there that allow their edits to be public, but for the most part, public is a no-go. You bought it privately for yourself. So unless it depicts a picture saying you can make this public, be safe, don't be sorry. Do not give this model to any of the websites. Do not resell a model. You don't buy it to resell it. This is not a trading coin. You cannot trade models. That's not how this works. These are not Pokemon cards. If you buy a model, you cannot trade it. This is not a physical object. This is a digital good. You know, there's a lot of complications that come behind that. Just don't do it. Always read the terms of service of an avatar creator. Some of them don't allow heavy edits of their avatars. Some of them don't allow their avatars to be edited at all, which is against what my channel says, but they exist and we want to respect creators out here. Holy moly. That's a lot, and I apologize that it's a lot. Now, we also want to be a little bit precautious about things. I want to point out a big fact with a majority of avatars, both on Booth and on Gumroad, is that they are NSFW avatars, meaning that these avatars can get completely stripped. They can wear absolutely nothing, or they are wearing very scandalous and revealing clothing. Now, where I have my personal opinion on that does not matter in this video, and I don't think anyone else's. The fact of the matter is, having NSFW avatars are against VRChat's terms of service. Now, this is a very iffy thing to go about because a lot of people don't understand, is that buying an NSFW avatar isn't going to get you banned. Owning an NSFW avatar isn't going to get you banned. You have to follow common courtesy. The only way you can be banned from an NSFW avatar is if you are running around a public lobby all willy-nilly and naked. It's at this point just common decency. Just don't, you know? If you're in public, just have common sense, please. You can still own them. You can still use them. Just have common sense. It's not that hard. Okay? You won't get banned. It's okay. Keep them public. If you're really scared, keep it to Friends Plus instances, or buy yourself an avatar that's more covered up or safe for work. Just have some common sense, you know? Now, you've purchased your avatar, you've gotten everything, you have gotten the whole shebang out. Now it's some common etiquette. What do I do? What do I not do? Now, terms of service are an obvious, you know? Terms of service are an obvious. You want to read those, you want to check. Let's say you purchase an avatar, and this happens to all models. All models. Not just Gumroad models, Booth models, PayHip models, all models. If there is something wrong with the model, whether or not it be clipping, whether or not it be something not functioning the way it was intended to, do not rate it poorly until you've contacted the creator. Contact the creator. Reach out first. Most creators are willing to fix their mistakes before, you know, you give a bad rating. Do not charge back. Do not charge back. If it is that bad, like, talk to the creator first. Always contact the creator first. Now, if you've contacted the creator and they have refused to fix a issue on the avatar, then I think it's okay to leave whatever rating you see fit. But don't do it without asking and seeing as they're willing to change it. And I say this because sometimes creators don't see issues. They don't notice them. Sometimes these issues happen because of an upload that you did incorrectly. There's a lot of reasons these issues could happen. So until you 100% for sure know that the creator's not going to change it and it's not on you, don't rate it a 1-star until you 100% know. If you know, I am all for criticism. Knock yourself out. Rate what you will, and that might give me a little flack. You know, people might not like me saying that, but it is a product you purchased. Now, that being said, if the issue is teeny, weeny, tiny, minor, have some leniency. All of these products were made by people who are human. They're not made by robots. There are going to be minor issues. There are going to be tiny bits of issues. We are working in a VR chat medium, and it is so crazy that you are able to use your entire body to move an avatar. 3D modeling in that respect is very, very hard at times. So cut a creator slack, be understanding, you know, morality over some other things. I know money is important for some, but just keep in mind. Now, another common etiquette is, should just be a rule of thumb. Do not purchase an avatar if you don't have the money. Avatars are a luxury. They are not a necessity. If you don't have the money, do not buy it. If you are going to charge back, do not buy it. You do not need avatars. I hate to say it, because I love them, but you don't need them. Think about your financial situation first, and don't let creators suffer because of it. I know there's a lot of chargebacks. I know there's a lot of money coming short. Just don't. You know what I'm saying? If you're having issues with an avatar, like Unity-wise, contact a creator. Head to their Discord server. Ask them some questions. A lot more than not, creators are willing to answer your questions and help you out. They want to help you out. Ask questions. Don't feel scared to ask those questions. Now, if you've made it to the end of this video, for now, that is all the beginners that you kind of need to have. The rest of this video is going to be a little bit of talk on leaking and ripping, a little bit talk on banned assets and stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. But for those of you who just wanted to indulge in the basics, this could be the end of the video for you, and I thank you for tuning in. Now, for those of you who are still here and have came from a side of the community where leaking and ripping was a very prevalent part of where you started, I want to tell you that it is okay to swap over. I feel like this community has a stigma behind people who have started from that place, and I understand how hard it is to join a community you may feel ostracized from. I think the best part to know that is if you've come from that point in the community is to acknowledge it, is to acknowledge that there was a problem and to acknowledge that you did something wrong. Sending out apologies to creators, or even just deleting avatars that you did not purchase or you do not own fairly is the best way to start. If you got packages from a friend, delete them, unless you know they purchased them under your name. If you got them from illegal sites, delete them. I know how hard it is to let go of some things and how hard it is to feel like this community might push you away because of it. I promise you that there are good people here that will welcome you into this community. I'm not saying everybody will. I cannot speak on behalf of everybody, but support people who support you. There are some people out there who unfortunately continue to take from creators and people who are involved in the community. You know, if somebody tells you about a specific situation, it's good to do your own research. It's good to do your own discretion. It's good to figure out who you want to support and where you want to put your money. If you are a leaker or ripper and you want to get started, I'm the one here to say, hey, you can change, you can keep going. You know, not everyone's going to ostracize you, because I know it's a very controversial topic within this community, is change in that kind of aspect. Just know that I think that you can do it, and even if people push you out, keep moving forward. Don't let them push you out. Don't let them stop you from encouraging you to help other creators, because I promise you there are some amazing people out there who want to see this community grow. I am one of them. I want to see people learn about creativity. Now, the next part I'm going to leave for the very last, which is why I left it this long, is illegal assets. This is another controversial side of this community that not a lot of people talk about, and when it is talked about, it isn't talked about correctly, is that everyone has an opinion on illegal assets used within the creator community, whether or not it's assets taken from smaller creators outside of VR chat. I don't think it is necessarily okay. There are things that you might find out later about TDA and Dolly Molly. Just know if a creator says that this avatar has a game rip asset, that you don't generally want to support it. Now, that being said, it is not your fault if you purchase an avatar that does have game rep assets. I cannot say I'm a saint. It's a very messy part of this community that the community is still working itself out into. So my best recommendation to you is to not put your money into something that has game reps and, is stealing from other creators. It's an iffy topic to talk about, and I'll have a future video talking more in depth about it because I don't want to make this video too long. But for now, stay on the easy side of things. I know it can be a little bit complicated getting into this community, if not very intimidating getting into it, but I promise you it is honestly one of the most rewarding communities I have ever been able to be a part of, and I appreciate you guys for supporting me and anyone else who wants to join and learn and express themselves. I say do it. Go for it. Just be careful, everything in moderation. Thank you for sticking around in this video for so long. If you have, it was a little bit messy, I know. My videos are always taken with one shot, so I'm bound to be messy. But thank you so much and have a great day.